This one here is the sphere of Buga. Is it truly an out-of-this-world object? In March of this year in Buga, Colombia, something extraordinary happened. A sphere UFO was captured, and I traveled to investigate it in person.
And you left me alone.
The levitating spheres are no longer a topic for ufologists and conspiracy theorists. It's a real issue.
What the hell? And it's not a balloon?
Such is the case that Congresses in many countries are debating about who owns them and the danger they generate when flying over military installations or near aircraft, with the possible risks of collision that this entails. Well, precisely one of the best recordings so far, made, moreover, by several different people, ended up landing and subsequently being rescued by one of the two people who witnessed it. From there, it has passed through various hands with equally incredible information, from weighing almost nothing at the time of rescue to now weighing 10 kilos, which was capable of evaporating water without even being hot, or even that its material is harder than the NASA satellites. But now we must make a big parenthesis, because there are rational people who seek evidence and listen to arguments. And on the other hand, there are the goats who only repeat what others have said and don't think for themselves.
Let's see, Martin, why do you say that?
The issue is that the sphere has come into the hands of Jaime Maussan, a historic journalist from Mexico, who is already known worldwide for the famous Nazca mummies. And well, it was in that moment when many people started criticizing the seriousness of this investigation, claiming that the mummies thing is highly proven to be all a lie. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, friends, that perhaps you haven't been informed correctly, as I have personally gone to Peru to investigate them with scientists. Some of them are world-renowned and not those who give their opinion behind their desks. Plus, on that trip, I participated in a hearing in the Congress of Peru where all the campaigns can be seen, including the one of Flavio Estrada. The main and almost only reference used by science channels to debunk the authenticity of these mummies. So if you are one of those people, I recommend that you watch the video before commenting on something you might regret later.
Since you're here, subscribe because Martine is so into these topics.
Closing the parenthesis, I decided to pack my bags to go investigate again. In this way, everyone can have their own opinion. So in this video, you're going to live the experience of seeing the sphere. I even brought toys to see what we can find. And we're also going to see this awesome theory on how it could actually fly and how they test it out. Watch out, it's something that already exists in nature. We are going to evaluate the possibilities of this being a hoax and discover something incredible. And this investigation involves the largest and most famous university in Mexico, the UNAM. They have discovered that this sphere is much more than we expected. So, I came to Mexico to discover the truth. And I can't believe it. I feel like Indiana Jones. Now, what we are doing here is the same as what we did in Peru, seeking the truth. What worries me about this case truly is that it is too good to be true. Now, officially, hello, Jaime, how are you?
Hey, Martine, what a pleasure to have you here.
Oh, perfect.
This is an antenna. The writing is apparently very old. However, we have not been able to determine what it says or what the message is.
Some kind of connection with very old languages, no?
Some of the symbols that appear here, yes. In the initial analyses, we thought that it was 95% aluminum.
The recording on my phone just reset.
Hey, actually, in the studio, this one time, the lights started to turn on by themselves. Why? Because evidently it has a power source on the inside. In the tomography, it seems as if it were a picture or something like that. But according to the researchers, it is not solid. It's difficult to determine what this is made of. Yeah, so...
Some of the people who work with you told me that some of them experienced headaches.
Yes. Yeah, there are many people who have experienced headaches. There are people who lay their hands on it and it gives them...
Like goosebumps?
Yeah. So we don't know. Here, as you see, they are...
It's cold, like metal.
Yes, and some tests are being conducted at the moment. The university is doing some polishing there because it's going to be very important for determining several aspects that we'll soon have answers to. All kinds of analyses have been done, and everything openly. So far in the research, it has not been possible to identify what it is made of. There isn't something like this on Earth. At least that's what the analyses at the university revealed, no? And well, all these holes are mysteries, right? One of the concerns is that they are not symmetrical. Sometimes...
Yeah, it does look like manual labor rather than technology work, doesn't it?
We consider it manual work. Now you tell me what the civilizations were like, or what the civilizations are like out there in other worlds. Or perhaps this comes from here, from the Earth, but from the past. Perhaps a sphere that has been flying for a long time. It's very difficult to say what it is really about. But what I can absolutely guarantee, 100% as a fact, is that the videos recorded by both Mr. Jose and by Maria are completely real and authentic. Jose's video does have a modification in the audio for security reasons. Why? I don't know. But I respect it, and that's what it is. That's what we have. However, the images of the sphere are authentic. So, it's the only thing we would have to worry about, right? And Maria's footage is authentic too. So if they are authentic, this sphere was flying through the air. It went down after hitting some high voltage cables.
Oh, did it touch the high voltage cables?
Yes, here it is. Let me show you. There's a small point where
The damage is visible? There is like
yes.
a dent. It can be this, or this.
No. Here.
Okay. It was a strong impact.
And from here we have tried to extract fragments, and it has not been possible. I don't know why.
What is this made of? Aluminum?
It is 72% aluminum and has 22% of silicon.
And they say that it is tougher than space grade.
That was the first time, but a very strange thing happened. After it was measured 360, 323, as recorded on video, they placed some very powerful magnets to see if they could move the sphere with them, and after that, it is measures that the hardness of the aluminum is 60, 70, 80 HVS, which it is much less. And at the same time, why is it not stable? Why is that measurement not stable? We don't know. We don't know if something changed inside and made everything change. I believe that the investigations are going to have to continue for a long time, Martine. I mean, there are really too many things we don't understand about this sphere, which is normal, but every time we are, getting closer to being able to understand it, I believe the real challenge should be to make it fly or levitate again.
That would be amazing.
The scientists actually have some ideas.
And where's the USB? Where's the port to plug it in and charge it?
I wish it had one. But I am surprised by all the negativity that has arisen from researchers who, from their homes, from their desks, know more than we do. We who are actually spending large amounts of money to analyze it, and they don't need anything. They just need to say that it is false. And
does that surprise you, considering what happened?
No, it doesn't surprise me. I can see it. I see
with
it
the Nazca mummies. Didn't the same thing
right.
happen? And well,
that's right, and it has happened to me my whole life. Whenever you reveal something, people who contribute absolutely nothing arise from nowhere. Without contributing anything to the investigation, they question, they mock, are rude, and it's very sad.
And unfortunately, that often comes from the people who are supposedly the most smart or intelligent, right? From the scientific field.
Well, and they come from researchers of the phenomenon. That is, the main enemies of any discovery or revelation you make are precisely the people who are involved in the mysterious phenomenon.
Why do you think? What is it? Envy? They are bought by someone?
I will let you decide for yourself. You can find the answer to that question, because in my opinion, we should all be united around these extraordinary discoveries. I did not make this sphere. I went to the place where it fell. They granted it to me. They gave it to me to investigate, and that is what I am doing, and I am doing it openly. They don't question the investigation. They investigate whether it's the video, whether it's the company Germany, and whether it's this or that, whether it's David Velez, whether it's Jaime Maussan. I mean, I wish they would say, look, that research you did is poorly done, and it's like this because of this and this and this, and I suggest you do this. Then we would all win, but the way they do it, it rather reveals that they are upset.
It's just noticeable. You can sense bad blood. You can sense anger. They are trying way too hard to pick a fight, right? I mean,
yes, that
it is brutal.
It is the sad reality. It is what it is. But here it is. And at any moment, scientists are going to arrive. Tomorrow more will come, and on Friday more are going to come, and you will be able to talk to each of them freely, openly,
just as always.
And develop your own judgment. I'm not going to tell you. Do you think this is true? Do you think this is false? You come to your own conclusions.
Let's try to be the devil's advocates, Jaime, and let's think that this might be false. Let's play this game. The problem with this object now is that it is too good to be true because there is traceability, there are many witnesses, there are high-quality video recordings, everything continuous, everything with recognizable witnesses, and all the information that has been observed. What could have happened for this to be a fraud?
I really don't find any reason why. I mean, money? They haven't asked me for money, and money has been offered for this sphere, both to David Velez and to me, and absolutely nothing. Fame, prestige. The people involved don't want to appear. Germany company completely cut ties with the sphere. David Velez, too. So, I mean, if it's not fame, if it's not money, so then what? And they're going to spend, the person who did this spent a significant amount of money. For what?
Yeah, if this is false, they spent a lot of money to do this.
For what? Why? For what? What? I was in Mexico. I went there and I brought it back. No. Indeed, the time is going to demonstrate it exactly as with the tridactyl beings, as we are already very close to the end of that legal dispute. And well, here the research is going to continue. It's going to take longer than we thought, because there are many secrets that will not be easy to uncover. But we are willing to persist and invest what is necessary until we reach the final conclusion. The only thing I will not allow, my dear Martine, is for the sphere to split in two. It's what many want. Let's open it to see what's inside. No way.
Well, there
I
are
won't even
people
let them
who...
remove one of these. I mean, I'm not going to remove anything. We have to do it from the outside. We have to do it with equipment. We have to do it with our intellect. But we are not going to affect the sphere in any way.
Not pierce it either?
No, certainly not. We are going to see if we can make it levitate. I think that would be the greatest challenge. We'll see if we manage to do it.
Look, and I didn't even touch it.
Look at
just
that.
As soon as I approached. Look.
The sphere is there. Let's see.
And it's
Step
not the
back.
first time
Move
that
a
it's
little
happened
bit.
to me.
Let's go there. Let's go there. Scientific material.
Well, right now I
Let's
have nothing.
see. Come on, let's go. We are getting closer. We are next to the sphere.
Very little. But I do feel it.
There,
A
you can already see it.
little
Let's go to
bit.
the other side. Yeah, that's when the goosebumps start to appear.
But now it was less. But I feel it.
And how did you feel before, the first time that you...
Well, the first time I grabbed it, I started to tremble, and I couldn't manage to control the shaking. Look. Look also on the other side.
Unless it's because of the air conditioning, which isn't very strong either.
No, not really.
Okay.
No, but the first time I grabbed it, when I took it out of the bag, I was trembling, and I never managed to control the trembling.
When they took her to the studio, the lights began to turn on and off, right?
Yeah. The first time it entered the screen studio, the lights were flickering.
You know, there is one, well, surely you know of a person who also had a sphere that also about 20 or 30 years
The
ago,
Bet sphere.
which also produced
Yeah, strange
things like that, right?
Yeah, what I think...
Look, I'm still right under the air, and well, it's calmed down a bit. And I still have them. I mean, I'm still here. And I didn't move.
Hey, I'm imagining things.
When it was recorded levitating, the sphere was spinning on an axis of rotation that is exact, and it comes out aligned like that. When I saw it levitating and I was watching with Jaime, I said to him, hey, where on earth does this thing get the energy to fly, right? But then my area consists of when we go to the laboratory a few days ago, although there were already some scientists here making measurements, very good measurements. Excellent, by the way. They even discovered within it that there is a composition of two very important phases, Those compositions are clearly defined and then also possess and have their own specific and distinct densities. Here they are. There are two very important things at the core. One thing is the darker brown part and the other is the purple part. And yes, that has 3 centimeters thick and it is aluminum because it was also classified as such. Except this, there is no classification parameter. They did not find it in their bookstores, and it is an institute that studies metallurgy. So we said, well then, what's inside? The way to test it was, this point you see here lines up with a point underneath, and if you match them, that's the axis of rotation, basically the exact center of the sphere. However, it would indeed turn while gyrating perfectly. What we did was mark a point every 3 centimeters by forming an imaginary meridian because we reached the equator. And we go to the other pole, the chip, or what claims to be a chip, or what seems to be a chip because it has pins. Well, it is the zenith of the sphere. We did it in several places, and what we did was take our density gauge or calibrator with a specific measurement, and we checked. We checked the density of the metal, but we went further in and saw that there was a much lower density than what was here. And that density is very homogeneous throughout the sphere. But when we applied a strong magnet, it was no longer the same density. It was changing, and then I took the precaution of measuring a point here and moving the magnet and saw that the density was shifting. It means then that the magnetic field I am introducing is moving something in here, right on the inside.
So you burned it with X-rays?
Yes, we inspected it with X-rays, exactly.
Is that solid or
No, it's something that is, as if it were sandy, but it responds to magnetic fields. But I still had the question. How the heck is this thing? Where is the source of energy? How does that thing move? There must be an explanation. I then began to meditate, trying to come to a possible explanation of how or where it obtains its energy source. I went to see some NASA satellites. I said, how? If the panels do not draw energy from the sun, they get damaged. How do they manage to get more energy? According to what you have heard, they are extending a long metal cable. Then the cable crosses perpendicularly magnetic fields and in electromagnetism. When a field crosses a wire, an electric current is induced. It happens in the direction of the electric current and also in the reverse direction, right? Also, I have an electric current induced, a cable, a magnetic field is induced, and if that is the case, then who can help me? Well, of those who walk this world, he must be a genius. And that genius is named Nikola Tesla. So then I went with Tesla, I went to his works, and then I observed that from 1901 to 1907, Tesla built the Wardenclyffe Tower. That tower, allow me to give you some observations that are very important. That's it. That really is a generator. It is a giant Tesla coil. But look how peculiar. Look, there's the tower. And here in the middle, a tube descends. See? That tube is inserted into the ground and connects with an underground river that he had already detected. But the river has
current.
And evidently the tube is generating electricity with movement, more likely as if it were a generator that powers the generators here in your house, which similarly in return carry electrical charge and distribute loads throughout the dome that is here. And that dome is charged with a Van de Graaff. It is intensely charged and begins to transmit to the ionosphere, right? As if it were a transmitting antenna, but of electricity. And Nikola Tesla intended to supply electricity to villages wirelessly. But then remember that this sphere spins like this. But the internal order is like this. Look, I'll change the perspective. It is a laid-down tower of Wardenclyffe.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, it is using a principle that is the principle of a Tesla coil, but inside. And then instead of us connecting to a flowing river, here, the one that will be in motion, it's the sphere that will be spinning. The matter is as follows. The rotation inside here must generate negative electric charges, and the charges always go from more to less. Therefore, this necessarily attracts. It becomes a motor, a generator of reception of a load attraction charge generator motor. Being spherical, there is a principle called Gauss's field. An uniform field is generated around, but that field is electromagnetic. And the electromagnetic field is hundreds of billions of times more powerful than gravity, because the electromagnetic field is the second fundamental force of the cosmos. But there is something more. Yes, we also saw that.
It's also the beginning of the planets, right?
Yes. It's this thing. We are surprised by the simplicity of the principle. We may be completely wrong. We'll have to check it, right? But that's what we are coming to. We see that we can move that thing from its place, the density of that internal part. So if that is spinning, this works like a gyroscope. If you move the center of gravity a little to one side or the other, or up or down, it depends on how you move it. If you raise it or lower it, You're changing its center of gravity and you move it. And since it is in the air, it is very easy to move it because nothing gets in its way. Now, two things. The issue is this. If you look here, this part over here has scratches. I was also wondering, why are those scratches there if it is spinning in the air? Because there are some perforations. If you allow me, I will show them to you. Well then, this part right here has been sealed up in total peace, so I beg you, just imagine this. You have a ring here and you put it into the perforations. There are 2 or 3 anchors. You fasten it, and like a toy when you pull it, right? They spin the sphere, and with that, and do you understand?
Like a spinning top, right?
A spinning top. What are we going to do with that? Like the jet turbines. Turbines cannot pull on their own, or when they are stopped, they need an additional external motor to make them rotate so that when they reach their minimum rotation, the principle of the turbine is activated. And by itself, this already works. When you start to spin the sphere and it has a minimum possible, or more so, a minimum calculated for that sphere, its rotation activates its energy generation principle, and that's when it starts flying.
And according to what Rodolfo told me, this already happens in nature. There are flying spiders that use a technique called ballooning, which was even observed by Charles Darwin on his voyage on the Beagle. These spiders can travel hundreds of kilometers without wings. They actually do not fly in the classical sense, but they take advantage of air currents and electric fields to rise with their silk threads. What they do is release an ultralight silk that responds to the natural electric field between the Earth's surface and the atmosphere, which can generate a slight electrostatic repulsion force that propels them. According to Rodolfo, this resembles the principle he was discussing. If the sphere could capture energy within the environment, it might be able to generate a suspension effect. So the invention would be to try to make the sphere rotate and accumulate energy from the environment, and with the mentioned system, initiate an attempt at levitation. What if this works? Let's see where it takes us.
Now, why did the sphere descend and not fall? We see her as it goes down and descends. Why? Well, we try to explain. We have to reach some conclusions. Here, look at this. The sphere in the air touched a high voltage cable from those that are there, from the towers. When it touches it, we must understand 2 things. Receiving electrical charges is not the same as enduring a full discharge. The charges are harmonic, the discharges are disharmonic. Then at the moment of being a discharge, it loses its harmony and could have reduced its rotation speed. It dropped below the minimum. It should not go below. It could not reaccelerate then gradually it started slowing down until it stopped, and then it didn't fall, it descended.
I was asking you because when the sphere was discovered, it was mentioned that it weighed very little, 1 or 2 kilos. But now the sphere weighs much more. In fact, there are many things that changed, apparently as well. For example, the issue with the water, if water was poured on it, the water would evaporate, and now these things don't happen. What happened?
When the sphere descends already appeared in an error mode. But I'm almost completely sure that the actual sphere was not disconnected immediately. Somehow there was a residual field present that from where they were controlling the sphere, they were trying to reactivate it constantly. But the sphere tried to react by itself. And when it tried to do it, it tried to levitate and couldn't. And that change of rising or levitating and not being able to levitate marked the differences in the object's mass until it gave up. And then we now have a dead weight of the sphere of 10.13 kilos.
Has it changed since you received it?
No, that's it. It's already at a weight. It's a dead weight. I call it dead weight. There is no more. But when the sphere was taken, it had a scorch mark from the area where it touched the high voltage cable. Then they tried to clean the sphere. It was all dirty with coal. And then what they did was polish it to remove the black part. And then they poured water on it to clean it. That is the reason for the water. The sphere was completely cold, but they saw that it evaporated. So the very fair question is, why does water evaporate with an object that is cold? Because it is evident that the evaporation is not due to a thermal effect, it is due to an ionic effect. When a molecule of H2O, put it into an ionization layer, then the water starts separating into cations, meaning H2O atoms that lack electrons, and into anions. Anions become hydroxides. When you breathe, hydroxide is an element that irritates our tissues. Then, if you do it exposed for a certain time, our membranes or our respiratory system, even the digestive ones, can or eventually will start to irritate with time. It is exactly what that character had. The following day, it went to the doctor to be attended.
What level of certainty do you have from 0 to 100% that this can really be something real?
From what I've researched in the laboratory, more than 90%.
There are clear indications that there are indeed things that are anomalous, contrary to what might be claimed.
In fact, the materials that make up the sphere, they are on Earth. There is no problem with that. I mean, its materials are not really the ones that speak to me or not, although there might be something strange there. I already mentioned it. What really tells me something is the way this object obtains its energy source. That's the issue.
Right, but you can't know that yet, or can you actually know it? I mean, you know that there is something inside that is anomalous, different to what one might expect, right? Or is that inside also falsifiable?
No, it's not. I mean, it's authentic. It's recorded with scientific instruments. We know that its density can change with magnetic fields. We know it.
Have you seen the change in the density of the metal?
I haven't seen it. I have it measured.
Measured?
With scientific instruments.
I mean, that would already be out of the ordinary. Exactly, right?
No. I mean, it is not out of the ordinary. It is very indicative of what I am looking for. Like, what is the source of energy? And I have a proposition as to what the source of energy is. I don't know any device like this that does it and levitates. I mean, it's recorded. We know it levitates.
As this went through the hands of a company that is precisely dedicated to the metallurgical field, I am not familiar with the company. I don't want to discredit it or anything like that. But this company could have recreated a similar sphere to give it to them, for example, to Mosan.
The fact that they give you a sphere and suddenly you pour water on it and it starts to emit vapor while being cold, evidently that is not normal.
Couldn't they replicate that here?
No, because it no longer has the field. It is dead. The sphere is off. If I activate it and do this, I could replicate it. But I will be careful not to breathe it in, right? I base myself on what it's here, using ours. There might be another sphere. Well, maybe. But I have no proof. I just have this one.
We are now recording with a thermal camera, and we are going to look at the sphere. Let's see if any heat can be detected. For now, what it's simply reflecting is the heat.
They are polishing it all.
And what you were telling me exactly, Rodolfo, where they are polishing is indeed hotter. But based on what you were saying...
Yeah, it's very deformed. The sphere is dead.
It's off. Here, based on what you are seeing, can you tell me if this could be of recent or maybe really old manufacture? Like maybe based on the number of scratches it has and everything?
No, it has nothing to do with it. I mean, whether it's scratched or not, it doesn't matter. Cell phones get scratched.
And the imperfections and so on don't tell you much about the age of this either.
No, from the imperfections, not really.
Okay, I see. Could it be something made like 6 months ago, easily?
I mean, if you leave a material neglected anywhere, over time it will fall apart on its own. It rusts, falls apart. Mirror quality. But by actually seeing it under the microscope, the cracks, the scratches are on 400 or 500 increases. The magnification of our eyes is not the same as a microscope.
Right.
The process is indeed laborious.
And with this, you will be able to determine the quality of the material and the homogeneity, let's say.
Yes, right. That actually could be done.
When would you have these studies more or less completed or ready?
Today we intend to finish this area, all the areas. Well, there are actually 4 zones, the hemispheres and the chord and accord that they asked for.
The UNAM, just to provide a bit of context, what is it exactly?
Well, yes, the UNAM is the National Autonomous University of Mexico.
And it's the most important one, isn't it? From Mexico.
Yes, it is one of the most important public ones. It is free. It has many work areas, both in faculties and places like research centers.
We are here with Josue, who is now currently in charge of watching and studying the topic of the sphere videos, which are mainly used to give credibility to this whole matter, right?
We were presented with 2 videos that were recorded in Colombia by a witness. Well, actually, there were double witnesses and another video of a lady. In this case, I had to check it out, take a look at it, analyze it. For example, here you can see how it passes behind the trees, so we are discrediting that it is CGI or that it is possibly something like artificial intelligence, which is what is now most used. The original video they gave me is 8 minutes long. So to find a possible reason that this might not be real, I started looking for theories, thinking that this is not real, thinking that this is fake, how they would have done it. The only thing I can think of is that it is a small sphere and it is hanging from a drone.
But it looks very far away,
Exactly.
the sphere, for it to be small.
Here in this part, I think it is the area where we can see the farthest. It doesn't seem like we have a drone here in this shot.
In fact, it seems to me like the sphere in these videos looks bigger
The
than
one
the
that
one
we
we've got
have,
here
yeah,
with us
yeah.
right now.
The other issue here is that the sphere seems to be smooth and appears to lack much detail.
There, it's spinning, no? Or is it the noise of the...
I thought it was noise, but here I turned it down. Look at the speed, and I increased the frames per second.
Yeah,
And it does give an idea
of movement.
yeah, gyrating.
It's gyrating, yeah.
Gyrating. And perhaps these elements seen around are the edges. It could be the same sphere, but it could spin randomly, meaning not in a single direction.
I mean, and you personally, what do you think about all of this, about these videos and so on? Are they real? Could they be fake?
The shots are real. The object we are seeing is there. It is in the place.
Is this the ladies?
Yeah.
Or the one of a...
No, it's the ladies. It seems that the object as well, it has reflexes. It is in the area. It is the same idea. Sorry.
The same sphere, one could say.
It is the same sphere.
You had a theory that the sphere could be hanging by a cable, right?
That was the first thing I thought, because I discredited the CGI thing. Artificial intelligence, there's still not that much time yet.
Yeah.
8 minutes. The only thing we have left is practical effects, which are used a lot in visual effects and to create practical effects. Then objects are hung. Some ships, small helicopters used to be used before. Now drones have started to be used. It was the only thing I had thought that maybe this sphere was smaller and was hanging from some drone.
But there are very distant shots. I mean, it would have to be a very, very long cable, right?
It would have to be a very long cable or be a very small sphere, but as you say, there is a balance in certain shots where it seems to come to a sudden stop and then drops.
You made a 3D render of the sphere to get an idea of what it would be like to make it spin. The sphere could regain energy and fly again. The issue is that when you set it to spin like that, they say that it would rotate in this way. The central part would always have to be visible.
The line?
The central drawing.
Yes, even if we speed it up, the central drawing would be visible.
And in the shots we saw, there wasn't a central drawing, meaning it wouldn't rotate.
In the shots we saw, no. If it is spinning at high speed randomly, yes, and that prevents it from being noticed, because if it spun like that, we would have the lines.
Continuous lines, yeah. And then there are complaints about the sound of the video of the person who rescued the sphere. There are people who complain, who say that the sound of that video is rigged and certain things.
This is the shortest video. The other video they sent me is 8 minutes long, but this ambient sound repeats and repeats. And it is possible because it is a sound from the area. But if two people are recording a flying object, the obvious thing would be for them to be discussing with each other what it is they are seeing, trying to imagine, to find out. And I don't think anyone will stay silent while you have this flying in front of you.
Apparently this was edited because they don't want the second person who was in the video to appear, neither their voice nor their face. So it was modified, hence the audios were covered to change that. I mean, the important thing in this case is also the video, not the audio, right?
Whenever you record, the original audio always gives more credibility. If in this case what they wanted was to cover the voice, it makes sense that they put flat audio on top, right? In general, this is a very good video to me. I would have liked it to be the uncut recording because during the time we are watching the video, for example, here there is a cut and it takes us to another part and that cut is the original.
It's like they took several clips and stuck them together into one.
Exactly, yeah.
But
this distance is the only thing that makes me doubt the drone theory. And if there is no drone, it is a sphere flying.
Of course, maybe what it could have been is that it carries a drone above, and that's why the audio is also changed so that we can't hear the sound of the...
Because of the sound, right? That was the first thing I thought. But this distance, here is the sphere, and we see nothing. I have certain doubts, I'm not going to lie, but let's say we're at a 70-30 with this. It cannot be proven false because the elements are telling us that it is false, but it has edited elements that make me doubt in certain areas. I mean, I'm trying to be honest in everything, right?
And that is what is appreciated and what is necessary for this video to be more credible.
In this case here, I can see a shine.
This is very interesting.
It is a shine that can be seen on the sphere.
Can you stop it?
It seems like it's short-circuiting. I don't know.
Maybe it was right after hitting, as they say, a high-voltage tower.
Yes, there are some high-voltage cables, but I didn't see where it hit. But I don't know. Imagine that this is the top part where the chip is, and it's short-circuiting, or maybe it's failing.
Pay attention because one of the professors from the UNAM presented us the results of his research, and I was there in that historic moment. And this pains me deeply because the problem is that I did not have permission from the university to appear in the recording. And it's a shame because the enthusiasm that everyone had at that moment was something to be kept in memory. In fact, I have it and can't show it. Here he explains to us that he removed a part of the holes in the sphere and found optical fiber at that point. He even mentioned to us right there that he conducted a chemical analysis of that part and found silicon dioxide with some dopant. And when they asked him from his point of view why the fiber optic might be there, he told us that his point of view was very poor, as he was not educated in that subject. So he had to turn to an international expert in fiber optics and mentioned to him that this fiber is used extensively for atmospheric matters. Furthermore, it seems that this expert was very interested with the topic that he even offered to help with the research.
This black part or blob is a polymer that has not been identified. But this polymer, by the way, begins to degrade at 110 degrees Celsius. It begins to destroy itself. Now, the thing at the center, it's the trace or origin, the presence of optical fibers. Evidently, you can see that there are different amounts of fibers with different densities of optical fibers. It's a vertical cut. Yes, they are aligned, of course.
What does it mean?
That they are on the same plane.
Why is it important?
Well, you can see that there are different optical fibers that are like present there, and we are talking about a micrometric image.
Meaning, it has many, many optical
Yes,
fibers.
imagine that.
The entire sphere is.
No, the black dots.
Yeah, the little holes.
At least the one who studied the scientist, he has this presence of optical fibers.
And what does this fiber optic measure, huh?
Well, it seems that they are sensors that precisely record environmental conditions such as humidity, temperature, etc., among other things.
Meaning this would be irrefutable evidence that this sphere,
Well, this fiber optic adheres to what the sphere presents. We saw that it is in the atmosphere. If it is in the atmosphere, these fibers serve precisely for that, to detect in the condition of the work where the sphere is levitating.
What is the importance of this, Rodolfo?
Well, it comes to add to our theories. It comes to add to our theories, not to subtract, yeah.
So, and they also found this on their own. They have been investigating, but the UNAM also found it?
That is truly and purely their job, okay? Surely the UNAM will deliver a report, a document where they will mention what they have been finding, and that's it. Here, you can perfectly see the optical fiber at each of these points.
Allow me, please. No, of course, Rodolfo, what happens is that it's not exactly every point.
Stuck together.
It is because of the light it emits. It may be that it is a whole one. It must be divided in half.
Oh, in halves, yes, because it looks symmetrical.
Symmetrical and current. Yes, that is used precisely for display purposes.
Of course, well, this is clear, right? Here's the fiber optic, and that is the polymer.
Exactly.
And that symmetry that optical fiber has is defined by many, according to what the scientists or the scientists studying this tell us, and who consulted and used this type of fiber precisely for atmospheric studies or sensors.
And all of this is encapsulated in a polymer that could...
A polymer, that is like this. That is a bakelite that is here. That here is a polymer, but also behind there is a bakelite.
And putting all that fiber optic there isn't that difficult, right? Are you saying that as a joke?
Of course, man. That's pure engineering, brother.
Okay, it has high-level engineering.
But the question is who is able to do it and who is not.
Here there are people who can do it.
Companies?
Casting.
Governments?
Even individuals, yes.
What I want to determine with my questions is whether someone, for some reason, wanted to do this by making everyone believe that it is something alien, but in reality, it was done by a person.
They would have an extraordinarily compelling reason to invest in something like that, brother. And one more thing. People said, how can they, if it's a drone, how can they see if the fibers are there?
Yeah.
There it is.
There they are.
It's there.
We don't need a camera.
No need for cameras. There are the fibers.
This is all you need?
Right, they are fiber optics, brother. Through the fibers, it gives both audio signals communications.
I mean, are they cameras too?
They can function as cameras. It is fiber optic.
So are the dots cameras?
Do optical fibers serve as cameras?
Sure. Yeah, of course.
I didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, they transmit, but they also receive. You who know how has that ingenuity been managed inside?
Furthermore, this has already been confirmed by the National University. There is going to be an official report on this, acknowledging that there are optical fibers inside. And let's remember that in 1994, Philip Corso, a colonel in the United States Army, claimed that fiber optics were extracted from recovered crafts, and he was responsible for introducing fiber optics into the U.S. industry for development. So this comes to confirm the situation that optical fibers have been used by other intelligences, possibly for hundreds of years, possibly. In other words, we are closing this live broadcast here. We wanted to do it because of the excitement we felt. We wanted to share it with you because this undoubtedly comes to demonstrate many things regarding the famous Bugasphere. All those who believed it to be true can rest assured. And, well, those who thought the opposite need to come to their senses and acknowledge the facts. Thank you very much. I am Jamie Maussan, and these are the offices of Maussan Television here in Garden, Santa Fe. Thank you.
Hey, excellent. Hey, me. Thank you, truly. Truly, because this is historic. Yeah, I hope you're happy now, damn Martin, because he went around for 2 days with a damn face like this.
Let's pour water on the damn sphere, buddy.
Can we add water now?
We are walking now because they moved the sphere to another place. Hey, hi, I'm here.
The Nout are super cool. They are also the best glasses in the world for protecting you against screens. You have a €20 discount with this code and link to purchase them in the description.
Here we are in the equatorial zone.
Yes, likewise. Wait, look.
What?
The amount of optical fibers there.
Wow, no way.
Did you do it in 2 points?
That's the second one.
This is the second point, Jaime.
Ah, it's even more loaded.
Yes, it is even more loaded.
It is the one that has the part with the hole.
Exactly. It's the one that almost pierces the
On this
casing.
side, we are still in another area of equator. We also have porosities. Witness them. Same primary aluminum silicon particles.
This was then like made by mold. In other words, there are two distinct parts joined together.
From a microscopic point of view, here, observing the microstructure, it reveals that each hemisphere was melted separately.
Then they merged in some way.
And then they merged as
But it doesn't have a visible weld.
No, there is no welding.
As I understood, do you think it was merged on the inside?
It is exactly joined on the inside. At the moment when that material is poured in its molten state, let's say it is at the moment when the fusion of those two shells and what is inside takes place. And it makes it so that since the material, it goes liquid, it goes melted. Well, obviously it works for you as if it were a weld. Let's say what the function of a weld is. It sticks the two hemispheres. If they did it separately, it was for a reason. Even nowadays, it is possible to inject it into a single piece, but you need a tremendous steel mold. You need a machine with an enormous amount of tonnage. So either there is a reason why it should have been done, as we are seeing it in two parts.
Definitely has technology. No wonder the fiber optic wasn't working at home, right? They brought it here, eh?
But look, also...
There's also a fiber optic inside.
It also has fiber.
Is there a fiber optic there too?
Well, it apparently, yes, 2, 4, 6. Yes. Hey, Jaime. There are also fiber optics where the joint slot is located.
In other words, it means that this is full of fiber optics.
This is the north pole of the sphere. This is the south pole, and this is the slot. The union and equator. Yeah, equator.
But the important thing here is that it means there is fiber optic throughout the entire sphere. Wherever we open it, there will be fiber optic.
There is the proof. There it is.
So it has to be all wired inside.
Number, not necessarily. I mean, where it should be is in the equator. It is where it should be because it is what is on the outside.
Well, also look here.
In the pore.
In the pores?
Let's see.
Aren't these?
Is that where it hit the...
No, it's not a pore.
It is one of the black pores.
Without a doubt. Now a complete study must be done for everything.
This turns the investigation because this one must be studied with the level that the sphere already presents.
Meaning that, well, the sphere is full, but full of sensors.
There it is.
Yeah.
There you can see it. It's full. It is full of fiber optics, and fiber optics are sensors for different things.
Multiple uses. Yeah.
For multiple uses.
You're leaving happy, huh? Don't you? The look he had is gone now, huh?
Hey, no, wait.
Having him here was worth
That's
it.
what we're here for, right?
Of
That's
course,
what we're here
yeah.
for.
This guy is so lucky. You don't know how lucky you are, brother. He is always in the place. I don't even call him. And suddenly, what is it, Martine?
You have to follow your passion, don't you? At last we can be alone with the sphere. So once I grabbed the ball, I did one of the things I do best.
Bust balls?
Basically, the idea is to record for an extended period using the thermal camera. Yes, I know that this type of camera is not ideal for this occasion due to the reflections, but it's all I had this time. In the second place, I brought with me an electromagnetic field detector. It is also used to measure radio waves and electric fields. And thirdly, to see if something happened. I activated Ghostbusters mode and played an audio that shifts to different frequencies to see if any of them could generate some liveliness inside the sphere. Obviously, I am not an expert in this, but I did a bit of what each of us, at least those of us who are curious, have always wanted to do. And this is the result, at least from my side. I didn't detect anything. Obviously, I would have liked to do this with more time and more tests, but the sphere was in high demand during those days. Some people argue that if it were truly real, NASA or some major government agency would have already taken it away. But Jaime Maussan was there, whom I like to refer to as the extraterrestrial enthusiast. Therefore, it's highly likely that if he hadn't been there, it might have been taken by a government entity or a collector. He is like Martin Palermo, Anna. The optimistic goal scorer, lanky, slow, but he was always in the right place to score and win. Thank you for being there and offering it for community analysis. And thanks to Wunam for having the courage to do what real scientists do, research.
Let's see, Martine, but you who have been there, is it true? Is it not true? What's happening with that sphere?
In my extensive and vast experience in researching these topics, I have two basically, which are mummies and this. And what I rely on to really say if something is more believable or not is to see if those things have something truly extraordinary that is not normally replicable. For example, mummies. What convinced me were the X-rays and the CT scans, which were unassailable.
An anatomical configuration of 3 fingers is seen without signs of manipulation. I mean, it is real.
This cannot be forged, or at least it would be extremely difficult. And if doctors or people who know about the subject see those images, they will realize that they are real beings. And with the sphere, I was looking for something similar, and of everything I saw, what drove me the craziest was the optical fiber, but not the optical fiber that was inside the holes, not even the one that was in the middle there, between the 2 continents of the sphere. But particularly that they inserted fiber optics into the pores of the metal, something that if someone had wanted to replicate, I believe it would never have occurred to anyone to do something like that. And in fact, I don't even know if that is possible to do today, but there is a very big difference compared to the mummies, and that is that the mummies have been under investigation for 7 or 8 years, and this just a few months. So imagine if he is given more time, what one can come across. On the skeptical side, what would hold me back is that for the moment, although tremendously difficult and costly, it is something replicable, at least with the materials and technologies that we mostly have today. In any case, Anna, I am ready to go whenever they want to go and make that sphere fly.
Or try to make it fly.
Well, it's tough, but not impossible, so don't fly off before hitting the subscribe button, because this story is just getting started.